says rotate your phone.
We'd like to welcome you to Sunday morning service, New Testament Christian Church, McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania. We thank God for each and every one of you that are tuning in and praying for us and thinking about us. We're thankful for each and every one of you. I'm thankful for the people that God has given us to work with us here and labor with us here. We don't want to forget in the midst of all of this. I personally don't want to forget those who are helping to make all of this work. I appreciate my wife, Sister Catherine Woods. I appreciate Reverend Anthony Steele and just all the great people of Pennsylvania that come here and attend here. I welcome you, and I pray that God is doing something wonderful in your life. And as I said previously, thank you for your support. We are thankful for those that have been giving, and if you cannot give online, we thank you for sending your support. 181 Catherine Street, McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania. We thank God. 15136. And but anyway, we're going to begin our message this morning found in Mark chapter 5. The Gospel of Mark chapter 5. And I'm going to do a little bit of reading this morning, but trust me, it'll be well worth it. And we're going to allow God to minister to us and help us in whatever it is that we're facing or whatever it is that we're dealing with in our personal lives and surrounding situation of our lives. Matthew chapter 5. And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he had come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshiped him, and cried with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High? I adjure thee by God that thou torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there were there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. And the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. And they were about 2,000 and were choked in the sea. And real briefly, before we finish the last two verses, we see the end result of what happens when a man or a woman allows the enemy to control your life, to remain in you and control your life, the end result is not pretty. Moving right along. And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done. And then verse 15, which is my final verse. And they come to Jesus and see him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion, sitting and clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. And notice verse 15, which is it's not my text, but it is significant and it's noteworthy. And they come to Jesus and see him that was possessed with the devil, that was possessed. Because you see, when you have a real experience with Jesus, the things that you used to be or what you used to be will become a thing of the past. He was possessed with the devil and had, which is past tense, had the legion, sitting and clothed and in his right mind. Jesus basically restored order in this man's life. You see, when you allow the Lord to help you, when you allow the Lord to come into your life and dismiss the enemy from occupation, it will change your life forever, and he will restore order in your life. Clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. I'm going to do something a little different. Appreciate Reverend Steele. Who said, Reverend Steele, would you pray, please, just as God would direct you to bless. He's here with my wife and I. Appreciate Brother Steele today.
Father, thank you for this time. I pray that you would orchestrate this service according to your will. Help your servant to minister your word. And I pray that it would not fall upon deaf ears, but that individuals would open up their hearts and receive from you by faith. And we thank you and give you all the honor, the praise, and the glory in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, brother. I would like for you to especially notice verse 8, which is our preaching text. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. We notice in our Bible reading, and even in our preaching text, some very interesting points, very poignant points, some very significant, important, and noteworthy things that took place in this amazing miracle that Jesus performed upon this man's life. It's wonderful when God really changes a life. It's a wonderful thing. And there's also very meaningful points concerning this man who was in a very, very challenging and very difficult situation. I would like to share some various points in reference to it. Number one, the Bible said that this man, we see it in verse 3, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains. The word dwelling or dwell means in essence that he set up residence. He basically lived the cemetery. He basically lived among the dead. Now, most of us, our experience with the cemetery is typically a funeral is involved. And then after the funeral, we go and we say our last goodbyes, so to speak, and a person is afterwards buried. Or we may go to visit a loved one, like when my wife and I, when we visit her family, where my mother-in-law is buried, or when we visit my family and we go to visit where my father is buried, or whatever the case may be. But we don't live there. We don't stay there. We don't dwell there. Because that's not a normal or regular place to live. That is a place of the dead. And so we see that this man had some extreme issues going on in his life. The Bible said he dwelled among the tombs. And not only did he dwell there, we can ascertain from this that he was comfortable there, that he was okay being there, that he seemed to operate okay in that type of environment. The Bible tells us in the book of Ephesians, I'd like to read it to you in reference to the dead and whatnot. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. And you hath he quickened, who were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in times past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, among whom also we had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. So the Bible describes a man or a woman who have not been saved. A man or a woman who have not experienced a reality in God, that are allowing sin and the sinful nature to run their lives, to drive their lives, to take you to places that you should not really be. He describes it as a person being dead and in their trespasses and sins. So we find that when we're not saved, that many times we take up residence around the dead, among the dead. We're comfortable in the crack house. We're comfortable among the drunk. We're comfortable in places of ill repute. We're comfortable doing things that we should not be doing, along with people who are doing what they should not be doing. And on and on and on. Like this man who set up residence in the cemetery among the dead. I'm here to tell you right now that Jesus Christ can quicken you. Jesus Christ can come to your life and change your situation. Number two, he had no control of his life and situation. Verse 4 tells us, because he had been bound, he had been often bound with fetters and chains. This man was out of control. He was out of control. As the young people may say, he was off the chain. He was out of control. And the chains had been plucked asunder by him. How many of us us can relate to this. We are bound by something. We are controlled by something. We are living a life that we know good and well is not best for us. We are participating in a lifestyle or an addiction, or we're attending and going to places of ill repute. And we have had people try to help us over and over and over again. But every time they try to help us, we break away from their help. We break away from their assistance. We break away from anything that they try to do to help us to change. Like this man, there were people that saw that he was destroying his life. There was people there that cared about him. There was people there that tried to assist him. There were people there that tried to help him get his life together. They figured, well, if we could just bind him, or if we could just chain him up, we can keep him from cutting himself. We can keep him from running around here causing problems. But he would break out of the chains, and no doubt they became discouraged, because no matter what they did, he would not receive their help. You see, there are people that no matter what you do, if they don't want help, they're going to find a way to go and do what they want to do. This man's life was spiraling out of control. And maybe you're looking at this broadcast. You're looking at this and you're saying, Pastor, my life is out of control. Things are not the way it ought to be in my life. I need Jesus to come to my cemetery. I need Jesus to come to my situation. I need Jesus to walk on the scene and do something in my life. I'm here to tell you that Jesus can help you, that Jesus can come to your rescue, that Jesus can come and make you a new person. This man's life was spiraling out of control. And people binding him with fetters and with chains, and he would break them, refusing their help, creating negativity for others around him. Don't you know that when you do wrong, it's not just you you're affecting. You're affecting your family. You're affecting your loved ones, your mother, your father, your sisters, your family. And people that care about you and people that love you. When you go to prison, it's not just you. Your family go to prison. When you get caught up in a lifestyle that's not conducive to clean living and clean thinking, don't you know it's not just you, but you're taking others with you. He began to affect others around him. And because of his life, others around him was hurt. And God is here to turn that around in your life today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when the coronavirus is over and they have arrested this situation or found a vaccine or whatever. Today is the day that you turn to God. Today is the day that when Jesus walks on the scene, you do like this man did. Just think of the mess that his life was. But the minute that Jesus came on the scene, the Bible said, but he saw Jesus afar off. He ran and worshiped him. This man who had devils in him. This man whose life had not been changed yet. This man who was still in the state that he was in. This man whose life was still turned upside down. But yet when Jesus came on the scene, it's amazing how it all came to a point. He was arrested. The Bible said, but when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshiped him. Number 4, this man brought harm to his life. The longer you stay out there, the worse it's going to get. The longer you stay, the more messed up your life is going to become. Because sin will take you farther than you want to go. And sin will keep you longer than you want to be kept. It is time. It is time for you to let Jesus say to that spirit. It is time for you to let Jesus declare to the devils that is in your life, come out of the man, come out of the woman, come out of the person, thou unclean spirit. In Jesus' name right now, come out of the man. The longer you stay out there, the worse it's going to get. I'm reminded of something that I've shared in times past. Is not unique to me. I'm sure others have maybe shared this in to some degree, but I'm reminded of a merry-go-round. And most of us have been to carnivals and amusement parks or whatever when we were children, or even when we were teenagers or whatever. And merry-go-rounds are a lot of fun when you're a kid. You go there, they're playing that frilly music. And then they have these horses that go up and down, up and down, up and down. And as a kid, it looks so cool and you want to get on it. It just, if I could just ride the merry-go-round, it looks cool and it looks like it's fascinating. And it has a glowing view to us. And they stop the car, stop it, and you get on it. And when you begin to ride the horse, it goes up and down, up and down. And that music is playing. And that carnival, that merry-go-round goes round and around and around and around, but you can't ride it forever. At some point, they stop it, the horse stops, the music stops, and you get off. Sin is like that merry-go-round. You get on it, you find something. At first, it's fascinating. At first, it looks cool. At first, it seems like a neat thing to do. But as you begin to ride, you begin to say, wait a minute. You keep seeing the same things over and over and over. You have ups and downs. You have ups and downs. And you find yourself going in circles and going in circles and going in circles. And you like, at some point, I got to get off. But the carnival just keeps on going. At some point, you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to, in order for things to change, you have to dismount. You got to get off, or it's never going to change. It's going to keep going. That frilly music is playing. Your life is spiraling out of control, up and down, up and down, up and down. And you keep saying, man, I keep saying I'm going to do this, and I keep seeing this. The same thing keep happening over and over. You've tried New Year's resolutions. You've tried all kinds of things. And you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over and over again. The only way it's ever going to change is that you're just going to have to dismount. You're just going to have to dismount this morning. Whatever you have to do. All you got to do is get on your knees. All you got to do is call out on God. All you got to do is in your home, wherever you may be. Just say, God, I'm ready. Like this man. He ran and worshiped. And once he surrendered his life, Jesus commanded the devils to get out. He said, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And so today in this service, it is my prayer that you will let God command the devils to get out of your life. But it'll all begin with you running and worshiping, surrendering, yielding yourself, giving yourself to him. And it can happen for you this morning. This morning, your life can change forever. Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. Whatever you're bound by today, Jesus can set you free. Jesus can change your life. May God bless you and may God keep you. We'll see you at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. God bless you is our sincere prayer. Till we meet again.